In my personal life, certainly not yet on social media, but people have asked me about my maker's mark, which you'll see on almost every knife that I've made. And you'll also see on all of my pottery now, though my maker's mark for pottery has changed several times throughout my making journey. And now it's uniform across all forms, which is a little depiction of a right hand. This right hand is a thing I thought about for a long time, and then my dear friend Ivo, who is an animator, before I got into any carving, drew it for me in a type of file that was able to be made into what became my hot stamp, which is the stamp that we use to hammer a mark into steel for knife making or for any metal. And then later, I had the very same picture used that I imprint into the bottom of my pottery vessels. So the question is, why the right hand? What is special about this maker's mark? Well, to me, it's very special. And it started as I got into bladesmithing, which was a passion for several years before I ever started doing any pottery. So the right hand, this is a Jewish idea, represents what we call Rachamim, mercy, as opposed to the left hand, which is used to symbolize din, or judgment. So we have this force, this boundless, amorphous force of mercy, something that's very important, Jewishly very important to the making of the entire world. And then the other side, the harsh side, which has very strict boundaries. So if you personally know me, then you might know that I can be quite a severe person, very direct when talking with people, and I feel I'm always very inclined to being a harder person, hopefully not harder to deal with. And so it's been a mission of mine since, I guess, becoming an adult, that I try to be soft as much as possible. And I try to treat people gently and speak gently to people whenever I can, to be kind. And I always think about this right hand long before I got into knife making, that when you raise your right hand, you are saying hello. It's a sign of peace. Not that when you raise your left hand per se, that it is a sign of anger, but to me the right hand is emblematic of this very idea of trying to live a life that is intentional and that is taking things and elevating them to a spiritual or ultimate purpose, or as ultimate a purpose as you have the capacity to. And when I started making knives, and I was told that I should have a maker's mark with the amount of knives that I've been making, that was my first idea. Many people put their initials or just a word, but I was certain that I wanted the right hand because knives are something that really can go either way, right? So a knife is sharp, hopefully. It's often pointy. And it's dangerous. When I lived in China, you needed to register your ID when you purchased a knife because, of course, it could be used for something bad or malicious. And in certain places I've been making knives, you can't travel with those knives. You have to send them away because knives can hurt people. And any knife has this capacity. So then what do we do? Knives also are an important tool in our lives. We could say it was one of the first tools, if not the first tool, to ever exist by people. And the sharper the knife in general, the better the knife. But it's the decision to what one cuts with the knife that makes it a weapon to be used for destruction, or a tool to be used for something creative, something additive. And so I think anytime anyone holds a knife in their hand, no matter the circumstance, there is an opportunity to do something bad and an opportunity to do something good. And so this is why I've decided to use the right hand as my maker's mark. That my hope is that every blade that I make, whoever holds it, will see this right hand and hopefully know the reason that that is my mark, and think twice every time that they grab it, that this too can be used for good. I will use this for good. I'll use it to cook food for people I love, or to carve a stick into something beautiful, or to forage some mushrooms to bring food home. Whatever the reason, people can make bad decisions. And just because of that, they are also capable of making good decisions. So that is the reason for my maker's mark on my knives. And that I put it on all of my pottery is after it became something that I feel I should have a singular mark. Because in the past, and on some of the past pottery that I've made, we also have a different maker's mark, which is a Chinese character, Bai, which is my surname for my Chinese name. Most people who study Chinese are given or choose a Chinese name, and that is the name I was given because it's similar to my last name. But now they are all the same, because no matter what, we can decide with the things that we make, the things that we give to others, to do everything in our life with intention and an elevated purpose. So for this particular knife that I'm making, this is sort of I guess you could call it a petty knife, or a very large paring knife that I'm forging out from a piece of white paper, which is a Hitachi steel. It's a very good steel that is not alloyed, so it's trying its best to mimic tamahagane, which is translates to jade steel, this precious steel that is bloomery steel made in Japan for samurai swords throughout the time of samurai swords, and now for knives in general. But this is the large production version that Japan has made, and I hope you like it. And I hope that should you buy it, or should you be the recipient of one of my knives or swords, that you see my mark when you hold it, and that you always use this knife, this blade, for something good. Have a wonderful day.